Morning. In today's devotional, we're looking at the topic of dealing with offense. Things happen. We engage with lots of people in our world, and we have friends, we have family, and we have church communities. And there are many opportunities that present themselves, sometimes small, sometimes big, but many opportunities that present themselves for us to be offended. Somebody does something that hurts us. Somebody acts in a way that feels like a betrayal, or somebody behaves in a way that's totally unfair and unjust, and we are hurt, we're angry, and we feel a great sense of injustice. And in that moment, that offense, that hurt it's like there's an offense knocking at the door of our heart, and it's wanting to come and make its home in us so that it can take root. And when that happens, then that offense starts to dominate our thinking. All we can think about is what that person did that was wrong. All we can think about is the hurt, and it colors our interactions with other people. And when we do that, when we let that offense make its home in our heart, we actually surrender our freedom, and we don't live with the love and the harmony and the freedom that Jesus wants us to. Colossians 3 tells us how we should deal with these things and how we should live with one another. It says this: "Put on then, as God's chosen ones, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if one of you has a complaint against another, forgiving one another, as Christ forgave you. And above all these things, put on love, which binds us together in perfect harmony." I want to share 3 thoughts from this passage that maybe helps us to deal with offenses in our life. Number 1, be unoffendable. It says put on humility and meekness. And in my early Christian life, a leader said this. He said, you can never offend a humble man. When you look at Jesus, he was deserted, he was betrayed, he was denied, he had many opportunities to be offended. He was wronged more than any of us could ever be wronged, because he never did anything wrong himself. And but yet you never see him walking around offended. And I believe it's because he was humble, and when those moments came, he didn't allow them to take root in his heart. What I've tried to do for 30 years since I heard that statement is, when I feel myself getting angry or hurt, or I feel offense wanting to make its home in me, I try to say, God, is there an opportunity here for me to humble myself? Have I begun to think too much of myself? Then can I just shrink a little bit so that this offense doesn't make its home in my heart? Number 2, we've got to make right with God. It says we forgive one another as God forgave us, in the same way that God forgave us. Jesus, when he forgave Judas, and he forgave Peter, and he forgave me, he forgave you, he did it freely. And when we don't forgive others freely, when we hold on to an offense, it's actually offensive to God. And it's actually a sin against God. And we've got to go to him and say, Lord, forgive me for holding on to anger against that person. Not forgive them for what they did to make me angry, but forgive me for holding on to this anger. I want to treat them with a open and free and soft heart, the way that you treat them. The third thing I want to say is we must put on love in the way in which we interact with each other. You might need to go and make right with somebody. I have had moments in my life where I've argued with my wife. Some of you might relate to this. And then you want to go and reconcile, but you're still feeling this great sense of injustice and like you've been deeply wronged. And so you go and you make this half-hearted apology for the small thing that you think that you did wrong. But actually, you're not really apologizing. You're just hoping to do enough to trigger your wife to apologize for the great things that she's done against you. And then she doesn't apologize. And then you walk away even more offended than you were in the first place, because really you didn't go with a soft heart and a humble heart. You were just trying to get her to apologize for what she did. That's not what it means to put on love. And it's not what it means to make right with our brothers when something has gone wrong. If you need to make right, go with a soft heart. Go with a humble heart. be comfortable that they may not apologize to you at all, but actually you making right for the things that you've done wrong. And that's how we put on love and bind ourselves together as a community. If you are needing to make right with somebody, if you've been holding on to an offense, maybe this is relevant for you right now. I encourage you, go make right with God right now and let love guide your interactions with other people. God bless you. Have a phenomenal day.